Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. Drug users have begun mixing the animal tranquilizer xylazine with heroin and fentanyl with lethal consequences.
Turn on the big light. I'm like, hey, you need to get up. And I'm like, and I noticed then that she wasn't moving. And so then I called 911.
Overdose deaths from xylazine in the Midwest rose from 57 in 2020 to 351 in 2021. A little more than a decade ago, Indiana University eliminated its Office of Women's Affairs, dividing its role among different departments.
It basically embedded responsibility very deeply in many places and improved coordination amongst those places.
But inequalities in pay and tenure for men and women on IU's faculty remain. And we'll update you on some of the bills making their way through the General Assembly. We'll have these stories plus the latest news from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. The Indiana women's basketball team set a regular season record with their 25th win Thursday night at home against Michigan. And with 2 games left in the season, the Hoosiers are on the verge of their first Big Ten title since 1983. Pat Bean reports.
Winning games is nothing new for the IU women under head coach Terry Morin. Throughout the pandemic-shortened season in 2021, and this is the 7th straight year the Hoosiers will have won at least 20 games. But they've never won like this year. With 2 games remaining in the regular season, IU is 25-1 overall and 15-1 in the Big Ten and ranked number 2 in the nation. A win Sunday over Purdue would clinch at least a share of their first conference title since 1983, the inaugural season for Big Ten women's basketball.
From the beginning, this group has had lofty goals, and we understand that in order to achieve the goals that we want, we got to win a lot of games. I always say we got to win all of them, but we got to win a lot of games in order to position ourselves to win championships.
Thursday night's win over Michigan was Indiana's 9th win of the season over a team ranked in the top 25, the most of anyone in the country. Senior center Mackenzie Holmes leads the way offensively and defensively for IU. She's number 2 in the conference in scoring at 22.7 points per game and leads the league with 48 blocked shots.
We go into every game with the same mindset, with the same game plan, because we know in the Big Ten, even if a team isn't ranked, that they can still be dangerous and come in, and we're going to get every team in the Big Ten's best.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
The Hoosiers' home finale on Sunday against Purdue is sold out. A mix of animal tranquilizer and fentanyl called Tranq dope has been making headlines around the country. Some media outlets are referring it to as zombie drug, but the truth behind Tranq dope may be more complicated. Ethan Sandwise has more.
Lori McCall has lived in Nineveh, Indiana her whole life.
It's where she raised 4 children, including her daughter, Cheyenne.
McCall said Cheyenne struggled with heroin and meth for 9 years, but in 2021, an unfamiliar drug called xylazine contributed to the overdose that took her life.
And she was doing really well. She had a job, doing the right thing, and she had a tragic in her life with a boyfriend, and she used again, and nobody knew she used, and I woke up the next morning and found her in her room.
That May, Cheyenne had been clean for 10 months and was active in a recovery network. She was living with her mother, Lori, and 6-year-old son, Jordan. Her mom says Cheyenne's boyfriend left her and she snorted fentanyl one last time.
I shook her, and she wasn't moving, and I said, hey, get up. Didn't move response again, so I turned on the big light. I'm like, hey, you need to get up, and I'm like, and I noticed then that she wasn't moving. And so then I called 911, and her son was next to her in the bed.
The coroner found 6 substances in Cheyenne's bloodstream. One of them was xylazine, an animal sedative that dealers mix with heroin and fentanyl, creating a cocktail called Tranq dope. Like opiates, xylazine causes depressed breathing and a reduced heart rate. Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Jason Barrett says the way xylazine interacts with other drugs and Tranq dope can make deadly substances even more dangerous.
I think there definitely is added risk. It's hard to give a number, but definitely it increases for sure, without a doubt.
Xylazine isn't approved for human use. It's been mixed with other drugs for years, but only recently garnered media attention. Its most dramatic side effect is the rotting flesh that some users develop around injection sites. Barrett says doctors still aren't sure why that happens.
As cell death would happen, you'll get that necrosis, meaning like blackened scar tissue or blackened tissue in general. And then ultimately, there's no blood supply. And I've read reports where limbs, it seems, have to be amputated.
Hospitals don't routinely check survivors for xylazine, so most of the information about its spread comes from coroner's reports. Data gathered by the DEA shows xylazine-positive overdose deaths in the Midwest rose from 57 in 2020 to 351 in 2021. By contrast, the prevalence of xylazine in drugs tested rose by only 7%. Because xylazine isn't a controlled substance, it falls outside the jurisdiction of the DEA. Special Agent Michael Gannon says his agency's focus remains on scheduled narcotics.
Xylazine is often mixed with other drugs, whether it's heroin, cocaine, or fentanyl. So it's not like it's just coming up by itself.
Users usually don't want drugs mixed with xylazine. It's added by dealers to extend the effects of fentanyl, which produces a short-lasting high. Gannon says even when the two substances are combined, fentanyl poses a far greater threat.
We got to get people educated and really let them know how dangerous this is, because it's devastating talking to the parents that lose a loved one.
Vice President of the Indiana Center for Recovery, Chad Sabora, wants to dispel misconceptions about xylazine that he says are harmful to users.
Conversations happen on social media about how naloxone is ineffective against that xylazine, and people in my position that have expertise are like, yeah, it's not an opioid.
Sabora says using the opioid reversal medicine naloxone can still save a victim's life. He also says the portrayal of addicts by the media tends to make the public afraid of people struggling with addiction rather than treat them with dignity.
They become so petrified by the media that they look at people who use drugs like almost like they're lepers carrying this plague. And that's the farthest thing from the truth.
Like Gannon, Sabora emphasizes that xylazine is only the most recent element in a much larger crisis.
Xylazine is either going to stay or get phased out. But after that, there's going to be something else for us to talk about in 6 months or a year. 6 months and a year from then, there'll be something else. This will be a never-ending, like, rinse and repeat until we do something different about the issue.
McCall doesn't know anyone other than her daughter who died from Tranq dope, but she knows other people in Bartholomew County who have lost family to fentanyl. She wants to be sure the dealer who sold the fatal dose to her daughter faces justice so other families don't have to endure what she went through.
I might not ever get justice, and that's something I have to live with. But I will fight to the end. Till I'm not breathing no more, I'll fight. Because I have to. Because my grandson's growing up in the same environment. And I just got to keep him away from all the bad people.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
The Monroe County coroner confirmed that xylazine has not been detected in local overdose deaths, but the substance has appeared in Marion and Bartholomew counties. We're joined now by Clayton Baumgarth for the latest headlines from around the state. Welcome to the show, Clayton.
Thanks, Joe. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb brought his legislative priorities to the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce on Thursday. One would provide significant funding for local health departments, but only if they agree to provide several core services.
If you choose not to, that sends a signal out to the greater world that you are foregoing investing in citizens' public core health services.
Holcomb also discussed the Ready Grant program, his major economic development initiative. Secretary of State Diego Morales is already being accused of an ethical violation. Morales recently hired his brother-in-law for a new position with a six-figure salary. While critics raise questions of nepotism in the hiring, state law doesn't prohibit state employees from hiring brother-in-law or sisters-in-law. Morales took office January 1 after twice being ousted from low-level jobs in that office and the allegations that he possibly committed voter fraud in 2018. An American Jewish Committee report found that most Midwest Jews say anti-Semitism is getting worse. The report says more than 40% of Jews in America feel less secure than they did a year ago. It also says 4 in 10 Jewish Americans altered their behaviors in public or online to conceal their identity over anti-Semitism fears.
These assaults probably are underreported and sometimes unreported. So my own sense is that while the figures we have tell a pretty troubling story, they probably don't tell the whole story.
The Anti-Defamation League says there were a record 2,717 incidents of assault, harassment, and vandalism recorded in 2021. Toxic chemicals released during a train derailment in Ohio 2 weeks ago are not affecting the water quality for Hoosiers living along the Ohio River. Environmentalists say social media posts have spread misinformation about the pollution, claiming it will affect drinking water for everyone in the Ohio River Basin, and that's simply not true. In a lot of cases, scientists say the pollution is now less than they can detect. A new online map allows anyone to see which Monroe County property deeds contain housing restrictions based on a person's race. The map is the culmination of a years-long effort by the Monroe County Recorder's Office to collect, identify, and publicize which properties contain such language in their records. Although the covenants are illegal today, they were common throughout the first half of the 20th century.
It wasn't just happening here in Monroe County. This was a nationwide thing that was happening.
The map can be accessed through the Monroe County Recorder's website. And finally, single people are stifling their outlooks on dating, according to a recent study conducted by Kinsey Institute researchers and Match Scientific Advisors. Kinsey Executive Director Justin Garcia says many are becoming increasingly thoughtful about what they look for in a partner. He says the trend conscious dating has increased in recent years, with singles using their political views as a determining factor in finding a partner.
Singles are saying, I want someone who's a good match. I don't care about their race, ethnicity, religion. They focus much more on qualities of that person that they think make an interesting partnership or relationship.
And Joe, researchers found that 58% of people said it is a deal breaker if someone is not open-minded to different political beliefs.
Very interesting. Thank you, Clayton. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Disparities in pay and tenure remain between males and females on the IU faculty years after the Office of Women's Affairs was closed. And the Sycamore Land Trust has restored a 31-acre preserve in northeast Monroe County to its original wetland state. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
We care about things that affect the lives of every American.
We are there at the front line
to get to the heart of what really matters in every issue.
This country has not seen this in 80 years.
This extraordinary moment in American history.
You're making such a huge impact.
Trust is at the heart of what we do.
Life is full of choices, and right now your favorite member benefit, Passport, is offering more choices for you to stream.
Welcome to the club.
It's a beautiful thing. With cooking.
I gotta let it cook, but I keep wanting to smell it.
Travel.
And here we are.
Documentaries.
I realized I could change the world.
And so much more. The choice is yours with Passport on the PBS Video app.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Indiana lawmakers have filed a historic slate of anti-LGBTQ legislation this session, from bans on gender-affirming care for transgender youth to limiting classroom conversations. Kate Blair is the Director of Advocacy and Public Policy for the ACLU of Indiana. She says the previous record was 7 bills, including last year's ban on transgender girls from participating in girls' school sports. This year, there are nearly 24. Blair says the slate of hate is backlash from marriage equality and the 2019 hate crimes law.
We weren't facing these kinds of awful pieces of legislation here. And now we've completely flipped it on its head, and we're reviving these old tropes that were used to discriminate against our community. They're back.
And it's part of a national push to pass anti-trans legislation. More than 300 anti-LGBTQ bills have been filed in state houses across the country.
There's always been anti-LGBTQ groups here in Indiana that had lobbying power. This year, and I would say last year, we've seen more out-of-state anti-LGBTQ players come to the table.
There are a number of other bills being debated at the State House as we near the halfway point of this year's session. To tell us about some of the goings on in Indianapolis, we're joined by Liz DeSantis from the newsroom. Welcome to the show, Liz.
Thanks, Joe. That's right. We have several pieces of legislation to break down here for you today. Up first, lawmakers won't vote this session on a bill that would legalize marijuana. But in a historic move, a committee did hear a testimony on the issue this week, and that's the furthest this debate has ever gotten. The bill would have removed penalties for people caught with less than 2 ounces of pot.
I would like to see decrim happen just out of purely a position of compassion and good conscience and caring for those who served us.
The bill's author says he's going to consider some of the feedback he got this session and then reintroduce the topic next year. And lawmakers are hoping to make it easier for some Hoosiers to get SNAP benefits or food stamps. A bill on its way to the House makes it so folks who are older than 60 or who have a disability can go 3 years without renewing their SNAP application. A 2020 study found low-income older Hoosiers, particularly in rural areas, say SNAP can be, quote, complicated and provide only limited benefits. The bill stipulates that younger people without disabilities will still have to renew every 12 months. GOP lawmakers are pushing for tougher vote-by-mail restrictions. Legislation that cleared a committee this week would require voters to include the last 4 digits of their social security number and another ID measure on their mail-in applications for absentee voting. That same requirement already exists for online vote-by-mail applications. The measure also bans anyone from marking or highlighting the absentee ballot application. A bill that would have helped Hoosiers deal with negligent landlords won't go any further this session. The legislation would have created a rent escrow system, meaning if landlords aren't making necessary repairs to essential services like electricity, heat, and water, the renter could go into court and pay their rent to a third party. That would withhold the rent from the landlord until the necessary repairs are made. Lawmakers referred the issue to a summer study committee. And parents, educators, and advocates argued for hours this week about a bill that would prohibit a teacher or school librarian charged with giving harmful materials to a minor from using its educational value as a legal defense. The legislation is a response to parents who claim school libraries contain pornographic content. But critics worry the legislation could open the door to prosecuting educators for providing books about so-called controversial topics. The bill passed a committee and is on its way to the full Senate now. The legislation would apply only to school libraries and not to public libraries. And finally, lawmakers are considering a bill to provide state-funded firearm training to teachers who want to carry guns in schools. Supporters say the training would give teachers opportunities to defend themselves and students if needed. Critics argue it would encourage more guns in classrooms. The Republican-backed bill passed the House predominantly on party lines. And Joe, it's worth noting here that in its current form, this bill would still not mandate handgun training. It would be voluntary with about 40 hours of instructions available for teachers.
All right, thanks, Lizzie, for the updates. Well, despite strides women have made in academia in recent years, men still placed on a tenure track more often and have higher salaries. Opened in 1972, IU's Office of Women's Affairs dealt with reports of harassment, created network opportunities, and provided guidance for faculty and students. Though the office closed in 2012, the work continues in different departments. Benta Boutier reports.
The Office of Women's Affairs, or OWA, was initiated by women on campus who wanted better avenues of professional support. Jean Robinson headed the office from 1998 to 2003. She led one of its largest pieces of research, the Report on the Status of Women, published in 2002. It collected data on sexual harassment, salary, tenure, and professional supports for women.
I didn't want this just to be a study that was just going to be put on a bookcase, and that would be the end of it. Nobody would ever look at it. And that's why we included recommendations.
When the IU provost announced plans to close the office and distribute its work, she worried that some things like research would come to an end.
There was kind of a community of people on campus who cared. I believe that still exists, but I don't know that there's any particular institutional structure that brings them together in the same way that Women's Affairs did.
The history of OA can be found in the archives on the 4th floor of Wells Library. 40 years of correspondence, meeting notes, studies, and feedback are all there. Katie Pilichowski served as interim OA dean in 2007. She shared Robinson's concerns initially, but says she's seen improvements like the development of the Center of Excellence of Women in Technology.
But the fact that it basically embedded responsibility very deeply in many places and improved coordination amongst those places in responding to those issues, I think it was the time. I don't know that it could have happened earlier.
She does think pay equity is an issue and wants a study published. According to the Chronicle for Higher Education, the average salary for a man professor at IU in 2020 was more than $133,000, compared to more than $112,000 for a woman. And more than twice as many men at IU have tenure than women, 687 to 324. On tenure track, IU has 203 men and 176 women. Eliza Pelvalco and Carol McCord's offices work closely together to address these issues of inequality. Pelvalco says IU is hiring more women, pushing them toward parity with men. And initiatives within her office, like the Scholarly Writing Program and Women in Leadership workshops, provide them with resources once hired.
We work really hard to not just create programs that will fill up people's time, but to really find things that kind of add value to faculty so that they can do their work without taking away the time.
The Office of Institutional Equity, where McCord works, addresses complaints of discrimination and harassment. Often if a complaint doesn't violate federal law or university policy, their offices handle it together. She dealt with complaints at the Office of Women's Affairs.
So to my mind, what I see is that Office of Institutional Equity, Dean of Students, and this office are really providing all of the services that we considered important at the time in a much more organized, systematic, and I would say thorough way too. So we also interact with one another about these issues.
IU adopted a new sexual misconduct and harassment policy in 2015 to outline guidelines for consent and avenues for reporting, and Title IX was amended in 2020 to cover employees. Jenny Kincaid, who heads the Office of Institutional Equity, says it has handled an increased number of complaints since.
I don't know that that means that it's happening more. I don't think it is. I think it's just there's now a place for those complaints to go more centrally.
McCord and Pelvalco noted more women hold leadership roles at IU and cite expansion of protected categories for discrimination and harassment as benchmarks of progress. Now retired, Robinson says having an Office of Women's Affairs made women feel like they had a voice on campus, even as progress was underway. She still comes on campus for IU basketball games, one of the areas she feels very encouraged by gender progress for the university.
Given that we have this superb women's basketball team now, there were a lot of women, many of them faculty, not in athletics, not in the School of Public Health, who worked really hard to get resources for women athletes, and that has improved enormously.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Bente Boutier.
The Biden administration announced last year it would reinstate Title IX protections altered during the Trump administration and add clarifying language for discrimination based on sexual orientation. Those changes are expected this spring. Indiana has lost more than 85% of its wetlands since the late 1700s, but nonprofit organization Sycamore Land Trust is aiming to restore as many natural environments as possible. Sarah Molina has this report.
Monroe County's Fixed Stolting Preserve is one of the organization's latest success stories, having been fully restored after years of planning. Because wetlands are home to 40% of all biodiversity, restoring preserves is important for animals and insects. Sycamore has already seen various species on the preserve.
We did put a camera up, and we're obviously there's a lot of deer, but it's early to say. We were just looking at tracks over there, potentially bobcat or coyote. We see sign of beaver in the creek. I'm guessing that there may be, mink and weasel and some less common species.
Executive Director John Lawrence says Sycamore conducted a 3-phase project to restore this particular wetland. The process includes creating a shallow body of water, tree planting, and pollinator habitat planting. After purchasing fixed stolting in 2015, Sycamore completed the project in 2022.
It's going to go wild, and so it's going to look much more natural than it does now.
This 31-acre preserve is part of a larger project called the Bean Blossom Creek Conservation Area, targeting damaged environments along the creek. With more than 26,000 trees planted, all that's left to do is wait for it to grow wild. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sarah Molina.
Sycamore Land Trust plans to continue restoring wetlands to help with flooding, filter out pollutants in water, and provide habitat for wildlife. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.